Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shy. For the first time watchers, for the returning watchers, make sure you hit subscribe and also thumbs up this video if you like it. So I remember when I first started my channel, I wanted to do this series called That Read Thursday. So the first Thursday of every month is when I'm going to post a book review. And I did my first That Read Thursday back in April when I read We're Going to Need More Wine by Gabrielle Union. And y'all have been busy. I'm sorry. So my ultimate goal was to read at least one book each month. And yeah, I kind of fell off. And I apologize for anybody that was like looking forward to more book reviews. But I promise I'm about to get right back on it. At the end of the first one, I stated what book I would be reading next. And that book was Becoming by Michelle Obama. Yes, the Michelle Obama. It took me a long time to finish this book. And I was very disappointed in myself. Like, I wanted to at least spend 2 months on it because it's like twice the size of the other books I was reading. But I finished. First, I did rent this book from the library, but I could only have it checked out, I want to say 30 days. And there was so many people who had requested this book, I had to return it. I could not renew it. So I ended up buying the book from Walmart. I think it was about $20. And I was glad that I did that because I was able to mark and highlight all through it. You see all these notes, y'all? You see all of this. So buying it was definitely worth the while. I also heard that the audio is really good for it. I probably would have finished a lot sooner if I just purchased the audio, but I like reading. But if you feel like you don't have the time to read this book, definitely try to get the audio. A lot of people love this book. So this book is 421 pages, and that's not including the acknowledgement, but it does include the preface and epilogue. But yeah, 421 pages. So if you feel like you're not gonna have too much time to read, consider getting the audio. This book consists of 3 sections. So it includes Becoming Me, Becoming Us, and Becoming More. This book does have 24 chapters total. And I just want to basically give like my favorite quotes, my favorite sections inside this book. So like I said, it's Becoming Me, Becoming Us, and Becoming More. So Becoming Me is more about her childhood growing up and also going to college. So a lot of us, we know that our childhood helps impact who we are today, whether you realize it or not. Like the little things, teachers we had, friends we made, interactions that we have with all types of different people, how we were raised, helps us to become who we are today. And I never realized how big of an impact that could be on my life, or how big of an impact it was on my life growing up. So in here she talks about where she lived at in Chicago. She also interacted with a counselor of hers while she was in high school, saying that she wasn't Princeton material. You obviously see she went to Princeton. You obviously see that she went to Harvard. But she also would still think back to what her counselor said to her. Just that little statement can be in the back of your mind. It can also be discouraging, but it can also drive you to become so much more, to push harder, to just stimulate your motives to become the best of the best. She also talks about growing up, how in the back of her head she always thinking, am I good enough? I struggle with that a lot myself. And that also comes from her experience with that counselor. But then she also says, I'll show you, in the back of her head, like, oh, I'm about to get into Princeton. If it's the last thing I do, I'm going to get into Princeton. Another thing is, as the book progresses about her life, is that she starts saying, yes, I am good enough. And we have to start thinking that Yes, we are good enough. You know that everything works out for a reason. Everything works out for the good. And whether you know it or not, now you're destined for great things. Okay, so just know I am good enough. Yes, I am. So the next section, Becoming Us, is her and Barack starting their relationship. I love their relationship. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. So I just want to read my favorite quote of hers about Barack. And you have to pay attention to these type of things when you're dating, when you meet someone that you're trying to grow romantically with. So on page 124 in Becoming Us, it says, his long-lasting friendships with his high school buddies showed his consistency in relationships. In his devotion to his strong-willed mother, I saw a deep respect for women and their independence. Without needing to discuss it outright, I knew he could handle a partner who had her own passions and voice. Ugh. These were things you couldn't teach in a relationship. Things that not even love could really build or change. And opening up his world to me, Barack was showing me everything I ever need to know about the kind of life partner he'd be. Woo, child. Woo. That right there, the little things that you notice about somebody's character, that sent me. Okay, but also she talks about during Becoming Us, after she obtained her law degree, is that she didn't want to be a lawyer anymore. She didn't feel like that was for her. And a lot of times we go to college, we get a degree, and we think, do I really want to go this route? Is this what I have a passion for? And she talks about how she wanted to start an organization or a nonprofit. She wanted to work with children and kids that are underprivileged. And that's what she really had a passion for. But it's not making as good of money as a lawyer would. So are you willing to make that type of sacrifice? Are you okay with going down a few notches to do what you love? And one of my favorite quotes, and I even tell this to my friends if they start thinking about this, because I think about this quote all the time, that she said during her conversation about this change with her mother. She said her mother says, I say make the money first and worry about your happiness later. So let's say you do get that degree that makes all this money, like bank. Let's say you stick around and do that for a couple years and save that money, invest that money, and then you can do what you love and still have money on the side to help you grow your organization. You know? And I think about this all the time. You can get your happiness eventually. There's no need to rush if you don't have the funds for it. If you're not prepared to take that step. Don't just up and quit a job and don't have a plan. So I really love that about this book too. So Becoming More is about during their time at the White House once Barack became the president of the United States. She talks about how raising her children was during that time, how she had to get adjusted in that life. And it's not easy, especially being the first of something. The first family in the United States. She talks about all the struggles, all the ups, the downs, and how she managed to get through it. How she was able to make sacrifices for her family, her friends, and that's a huge step to take. And I think they did a hell of a good job. I really do. So a favorite story of mine inside of Becoming More was when her and Barack went over to London to meet Queen Elizabeth. And that was, and a lot of people, okay, let me just back up. So during this time, when she met the Queen, they have a conversation about the heels they're wearing. and she mentions that her feet hurt to her, and they both started laughing. And Michelle, she touches the queen like on her shoulder, and a lot of people like, oh no, she didn't. She just came up here and she just touched the queen. Nobody touches the queen. Like, oh my goodness. Like, y'all, it was so much publicity going on because of that one little touch. But the queen, like, touched her back. And it's like, oh, what she know about meeting a queen? The queen touching her back made it show how their relationship began. Like, how comfortable the queen was with meeting her. And imagine if somebody else did that. The queen would probably be like, security. No, you're not about to, But Michelle, she just had it like that. So in the end of this book, during the epilogue, she talks about what becoming actually means. And I remember when I was reading this book at work, and a coworker, he was like, oh, you're reading a book on how to become Michelle Obama? I was like, I wish it was that easy. If I could become Michelle. She says, becoming requires equal parts patience and rigor. Becoming is never giving up on the idea that there's more growing to be done. That just, it was just a great way how to put that to end this book. Because this is a memoir about her life, but she talks about how every circumstance in her life helped her become who she is, and she's still growing. And I was reading this book at my jobs, like, all the time. And I don't remember one person ever saying a bad thing about her once they seen I was reading this book. Like, a customer would be like, oh, that's a great book. She's such an amazing woman. Another one would be like, she's such an amazing writer. She's done so much good. And I'm not just saying, like, black people were saying this. Like, it was white people, men, women, all types of races. They were commending her for sharing her story, and they love it. I did engage with one person that, I don't know, that she just looked at me funny when she seen me reading this, but she didn't say anything, but she just gave a look. But you know what? It's okay. But another thing that I like in this book is how she states all that she and Barack has done during their time in the White House. From little things to big things. I remember when I was like in junior high, and she was starting like to make children become more healthy and start being healthy in schools and being more active. And we used to have this donut and cheese and pretzels and all the good chips during lunch. We could not wait to get to the snack bar. And then they took it all away. They started giving us 50% less cheese Doritos, y'all. And all types of healthy stuff. And I was so mad at Michelle. I was. But I'm glad she did it because, you know. But I remember that like it was yesterday. We were all so hurt that she just took all our stuff away. But I know it sounds goofy. But a lot of things when they first came into the White House, I don't remember because I was so little. And she talks about some of those things. So I'm not really big on politics myself. I try to keep up with what's going on in the country. And she does talk about how she felt about Donald Trump becoming president. Yeah. And when I was reading this about that election, I don't know why I was hoping for a different ending, like I didn't already know how it was going to end. And I was about to start crying, like, no. Like, you know, when you've seen a movie several times and you know the ending, but it still hits you. Yeah, that's how that book hit me at that one part. But yes, it's a great, amazing book. So I encourage you to read Becoming by Michelle Obama. Or if you have read it already, comment your favorite parts of the book and comment favorite quote, anything. I love this book, y'all. I love it. She also even have a few pictures in here about some of the stories she talked about. I'll just show a few. I think that's her and her family. Her and look at it. Oh, it's so cute. But yeah, get the book. Get the book. So, like I said before, I did have a lot going on, which caused me to delay on reading this book. I also had to read another book for school, and that book was called Benty by I can't say her name. I'm sorry. But I'm going to insert a picture of that book. Very good book. I loved it. It wasn't too long. It was about 100 pages. But check that book out. It's really good. Science fictional. Banging book. That's all I really have to talk about today. Yeah, so next month, for That Read Thursday, I'm going to be reading You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I've heard so much good things about this book that I just wanted to go ahead and purchase it. I heard it's like a good book to read before going to college or while you're in college. It kind of makes you get your life together type of book. And I'm very excited to read it. So, yeah, I will see you guys next time for my next upload. Like I said, make sure you subscribe, thumbs up this video, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.